fucking hit a woman. No. Do not hit a fucking woman. Are you fucking nuts? Oh man, you're crazy, man. Don't hit a woman. What is wrong?
You can't give me the right to be a human being. I'm wrong with that right. Now you can keep me from having that if you've got all the policemen and all the jobs on your side.
Hey guys, and thanks for joining me for this video. This has been kind of a hard one for me to do. I've been working on it for a little while, trying to make sure I do it right. But it's hard because it's going to be controversial to a lot of the people in the Spokane area here who I'm pretty close with because of our activism. But that is also the reason I'm bringing you this video. It's very important because of that. If you are going to be an activist and you're going to be out there reclaiming or fighting for your freedom or other people's, this video is very important to you because it's about respecting other people's freedom while you're doing that. Just about everybody I know that's an activist does so because they feel like they're being oppressed in some way by some group or some individual, whether it be government or some private group. And in this video, I want to show you how sometimes when we're out there fighting for our own freedoms and trying to reclaim some of our own freedoms or establish those freedoms, we might actually infringe upon other people's freedoms in the process. And I don't mean by actually physically removing their freedom and keeping them from doing it, but sometimes it's just through acts of coercion and intimidation, and that is a violation of the non-aggression principle. Most of the people I know that are activists also believe in the Constitution. Well, if you believe in the Constitution, it was written to control government, not the people. So the people, we're free. And as long as we abide by the non-aggression principle, we're to be left alone. And that means we don't threaten or we don't carry out any violence against other people, so we don't damage or hurt anybody else's property or threaten to do that. And we don't defraud anyone and we don't steal anything from anyone. And as long as we don't do those things, we should be left alone because we're not hurting anyone else. Sometimes when we're out doing this activism and we're trying to fight for our own rights and our own freedom, we kind of forget that other people have that same thing too. And it's really important to stick to the principles of the non-aggression principle and think about, are you hurting anyone? Are you defrauding anyone? Are you threatening to hurt anyone to coerce them to stop their activity? And are they doing anything to hurt anyone else or defraud anyone or steal from anyone themselves? So what you're about to see in the pictures I'm showing you right now are from a flag and sign waving kind of just gathering here in Spokane. There's a pedestrian walkway over the freeway, and some friends of mine, some activists, decided to try to raise some awareness a couple of Saturdays ago. And while they were there, they had this photographer show up that to them was making them uncomfortable. But he does nothing different than what I do. He showed up in a public place and he was taking pictures and video from what he can see from public. I tried to find some of his pictures and video online, but I wasn't able to find it. I actually saw him last weekend at the Rally for Freedom in Spokane, but he wasn't interested in talking and let me know where I could find any of his content. So if anyone does know, the guy that you see on the screen right now, or where I can find his content, especially regarding this incident, I would like to see his version of what happened as well. But until I see that, I can only go off what I see here. So I'm going to read to you what my friend posted on Facebook about when she was assaulted by this guy. And then I'm going to play the footage.
I was assaulted today. What happened? We were standing peacefully on a bridge, and a man began filming us and filming our cars and our license plates and our faces, coming close to us but wouldn't speak to us. Wouldn't say who he was, but just filmed right in our faces. I confronted him. I asked him who he was and why he was taking our pictures. He wouldn't speak, only continued taking pictures. He pushed me. I pushed him back. He had a big camera on a tripod, and he swung it at my face. I am lucky it didn't kill me. He is lucky no one that loved me was there. The sheriff came and did nothing, said it was both our faults. Watch the video and you decide. I'm 60, he is 6'4" and in his 20s. I can barely see out of one eye. My glasses flew off my face, of course, and they are damaged, but work a little. Video linked below.
Okay, so you just heard her version of events, and a little bit of back and forth with her about this incident. What I was able to establish was he was there just taking pictures from public, and they made him uncomfortable. or he made them uncomfortable because he was taking pictures of their license plates. They didn't want to get doxxed. There's several reasons that made him uncomfortable. But regardless of what those reasons are and their uncomfort level, he wasn't doing anything to violate the non-aggression principle. He wasn't threatening them with violence. He wasn't actually carrying out any violence. He wasn't stealing from them, and he wasn't defrauding them in any way. So he really just should have been left alone. So they didn't do that. As you heard my friend say in the statement I just read, she confronted him. And from a couple other reports, they were maybe kind of getting in his face, getting pretty close to him. And from the video you'll see, it looks like my friend was pretty close to him. So just keep that in mind when you're going out. First of all, you can't control the actions of other people when you're going out to do this activism. And because of the way our media and our government divides us and pits us against each other, there are high emotions on both sides. I've experienced that myself. I'll show you that clip right now, some of the BLM protests from last year here in Spokane.
Huh? David was killed on January 7th, 2019.
Fuck David and fuck you!
Interesting. Killed by the police.
Fuck off, take off, man. Keep moving.
What you gonna do about it? What you want to do?
Stand right here. I'm gonna be right in your face this whole time.
It's good stuff, man. I love it. You don't think that everybody has a right to be here, just black people do?
Do I look black to you, motherfucker?
No, you don't, but I'm just walking around. Just here with a
Do I
peaceful
look black to you,
message.
motherfucker?
I'm just here with a peaceful message, dude. Why are you trying to
You're not
start
being
problems?
peaceful right now. You're trying to provoke people. You're
How
trying to
was I
provoke that whole
provoking
line of people, and then you step to me.
They asked me a question, and I
Why
stepped
don't you
up
just
here.
take
You
off,
stepped to
man?
me. It's all on camera right here,
Take off,
dude.
man. We're trying to have a peaceful
It's all
thing.
on camera.
Great! I don't give a fuck.
You
Hello.
stepped up to me, dude. I was walking here, and I came right up here. They asked me a question. I stepped up.
Black lives matter! 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 Touch me, bitch!
Quit taking my goddamn shit!
Why are you here? You're the red spot, motherfucker!
I stood up to someone down there that wanted to be free. I stood up to someone down there. She wasn't the same color as me. These pigs wanted to put their hands on her. I stepped across the chain and helped her. I didn't care what color she was. Yeah, ignore me. Listen to them. Ignore me. Black lives matter! 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 Let's hear it! Let's hear it! Black lives matter! Are we done? Have we had our fill? All right, let's hear more. I didn't start shit. It's all on camera, dude. I went low. Yeah, I'm the one being told to shut the fuck up. That's good. Make me, bitch. to the
What's up? David?
Who's David?
Well, last time I asked that, I got kicked, so I don't know if I want to answer that.
I don't want to kick
David, no, he wasn't a fucking officer. No, he was shot by officers in January of 2019. He was shot in the back by these Spokane police officers.
Oh,
Okay, everyone's saying that's...
No, he was shot in the back, man. See? Y'all need to talk before you start yelling. Because he's not white, he's not black, he's white. Listen, so look, check this out.
Everyone thinks this is David.
It's okay, hey.
The cop that put his knee in his...
Hey, I understand this is emotional. This is my YouTube channel. What I do is I come out on weekends and I film these cops to make sure they aren't doing this shit, man.
okay.
Alright?
Listen, yeah.
Hey, will you hold my hand and raise it up here so as people can understand that? Look at this! Fuck yes! Yes!
Asian. If this man was dead, he American.
This guy was killed by cops!
If he was, hey, look it up.
They shot him in the back!
Still got no lives matter sign.
Great, dude! I thought this was about police brutality killing innocent people.
This is a BLM North.
Okay, I thought it was a free street. I thought we lived in a free country. What?
What's his last name?
David Novak.
David Novak.
Yeah. Here, I had a piece of paper with everybody in the last 5 years who's been killed, but it fell in my pocket with the dates and who killed them, because I was looking for the officers over there so I could save the shit out of them. What's that?
Police officer that had killed.
Kate, I understand this is an emotional situation. That's why I stood my ground. Look, I didn't want to do anything wrong. You guys, hey, it's all right. It's all right. What's your name?
Mary.
Thank you. I'm Corey. You guys are okay, people. You guys are okay. See, look at that. Look at that. When we have a conversation, shit can get resolved.
So my point is, if you're in the situation that my friends were in here, where they were just trying to raise awareness and exercise their freedom, and they started feeling like maybe they were threatened or whatever, as long as this guy isn't violating the non-aggression principle against you, don't do anything to him. Just ignore him. Let him do what he's doing. Who cares if he's taking your picture? You're out in public. If you don't want him to take on your picture, I hate to say it, maybe you should put on a mask. Or maybe you should park your car further away and walk a distance to where you're going if you don't want people to see what your car looks like or get your license plate number. Because he didn't even have to take a picture to do that. He could just walk by and write down your license plate numbers. And then you guys wouldn't even have known that he was doing it. So you got to think about these things instead of getting emotional and reacting out of emotion. I know that's really hard, especially when you're out there fighting for your freedom like this, but we really have to stick to the principles of freedom. That's really the most important thing here. And one last thing I want to explain here that I tried to explain to my friend when I was explaining to her that this guy wasn't doing anything wrong, and even though he might have made her uncomfortable, he should have just been left alone. The one thing I told her is next time, just document it. Pull out your phone and just take video of him so you know you documented who he is, and then that way if he does something to violate the non-aggression principle, now you have it documented. It's right there. You can show the world however you want to. So that's probably one of the most important things is don't react to them. Don't give them what they want. Just document what they're doing and just carry on with your own activity. You're there for a particular reason, and it isn't to react to that person. So carry out the activity you're there for. Don't give these people what they want, which is a reaction. And the other thing is, just to put it in perspective. So my friends were there protesting the mask and vaccine mandates here in the state of Washington. They want to be able to have their own choices whether or not they want to get a vaccine and go to work, or wear a mask and go to work, or go shopping for that matter. So what their desire to not have a vaccine or wear a mask is, as much as I agree with it, their desire puts guys like this photographer who was wearing a mask, so I assume he falls on the opposite side of this and thinks we should be forced to wearing a mask. Maybe that assumption is wrong, but there are others like that. And that makes them uncomfortable. When we leave our houses without a vaccination, or we leave our houses without a mask, and we go to a store without a mask, that makes them uncomfortable. And as ridiculous as we may think that is, they've been convinced by corporate media and our government that they should be uncomfortable because of us, because they've been convinced that we're a threat to them. So what they are doing is reacting to that threat and trying to keep themselves safe, and they are trying to remove our freedom. So just to put that in perspective, as I said earlier, this photographer was there taking pictures of my friends, as she stated, of their faces, of their license plates, and their activities. And this made my friends uncomfortable. So what did they do? They did something completely antithetical to what they were there trying to do, which is promote freedom. They actually wanted, through coercion and harassment, in my opinion anyways, they tried to harass this guy. They tried to coerce him through harassment and intimidation to stop his activity. And that's a violation of the non-aggression principle. He should have just been left alone to do what he was doing. He wasn't hurting anybody. But by them confronting him and getting in his face, I mean, it's one thing just to say, hey, what's your name? What are you doing? What are you taking pictures of? But if he doesn't want to answer, that's his prerogative, and he should just be left alone. But the fact that you're going after him and trying to intimidate him to stop his activities, that's a violation of the non-aggression principle, and that's antithetical to what you're there for in fighting for freedom. We need to respect other people's freedom, just as uncomfortable as it makes us. Until that guy does something to violate the non-aggression principle, he really needs to be left alone, because that's exactly what you guys are asking. You're not violating the non-aggression principle by not getting a vaccine and trying to go to work or go to a store, or not wearing a mask and trying to go to work or go to a store. So you should be left alone as well. So keep that in mind when other people are out there doing activities that you don't agree with or that might make you uncomfortable. With that, I'm going to show you this video and see what you guys think about it.
Hey. Do not fucking hit a woman.
Nope.
Do not hit a fucking woman. Are you fucking nuts?
We need something to call the cops.
So after watching that video, it looked to me like this photographer was kind of surrounded by people. He was probably uncomfortable and felt intimidated, and it looked like he was trying to escape and leave the situation, or at least get where he didn't feel surrounded, and go between the narrow opening between my friend and the barricade between the highway and the grassy area there. And she kind of blocked that area off, and so he changed directions and tried to go the other way to escape, and in doing so, he ran into her because she was standing so close to him. She maybe thought this was him pushing her, so she pushed him back, and he retaliated. Now, personally, I feel like that retaliation was quite excessive. As you saw in the video I played earlier, when I was in a similar situation, I was able to keep my cool, and I think if you're doing this, you got to be able to keep your cool as well. First of all, you should never hit a woman or a child. That's just ridiculous if you're a man. That's ridiculous. But second of all, did it really warrant this guy hitting her with his camera like that, his tripod? I don't know. I wasn't in his shoes. I don't know what he was feeling. I can't experience that. All I know is if she wouldn't have confronted him in this way and she would have just ignored him and documented him from a distance, it probably wouldn't have happened in the first place. What do you think? Respect each other's freedom.
Thank you again for supporting my channel. Just by watching my content, you are supporting my work. However, if you want to support me in other ways, sign up on censorship-fighting YouTube alternatives like LBRY, which uses Odyssey for its video platform, or Hive. Use the links in the description to earn yourself some decentralized crypto for getting started. There are non-cryptocurrency platforms as well. You might as well get something of value in return for your support of your favorite content creators. Links to all of the platforms you can find Questionable Authority on are in the description. And don't forget to check out the Questionable Authority merchandise store.